coming, you guys. Hope everyone is enjoying breakfast. There's plenty in there, plenty of coffee. Please help yourself to seconds. For those that I don't know, my name is Laura Stewart, and I'm the Vice President of Community Development at the Forsyth County Chamber of Commerce. And in that role, I have the pleasure of serving as the staff liaison for our Healthcare Association. Our Healthcare Association is a longtime partner with Northside Hospital, and I'm so grateful that they allow us to come use this space. We have our audience here today. We also have a virtual audience joining us. And so to our virtual audience, when we get to the question and answer portion of the program, please put your questions into the chat. My colleague Jessie is monitoring those. And so grateful to work regularly with Kathy Galbraith here at Northside. Kathy, wanted to see if you wanted to say a few words of welcome to everyone.
Yeah, hey everybody, I'm Kathy Galbraith, just one of the directors here, at Northside Forsyth. I do want to also introduce Amy Fisher. Hopefully everybody met her here in the back wave. Amy Fisher was over all of surgical services here, recently promoted to COO, obviously not new to Northside or Northside, but it's been a pleasure working with her for 12 years. So we have an open door policy here. If you guys need me, obviously by phone or email, and same thing with our administration team with Amy. So even if it's surgical, she can still, help if you guys need. We love hearing if there's challenges, but we love hearing if there's good things too. We'll say some really cool announcements to the end that make sure that you guys, hopefully nobody has to leave early, but there are some very cool events that you do not want to miss. So make sure you pay attention at the end. So I'll just toss it back to you, Laura.
Thanks, Kathy. I also wanted to introduce Derek Brooks with Brandywine Printing. This series is presented by Brandywine Printing. And wanted to give Derek some time to say a few words of welcome as well as our presenting sponsor.
Thank you, Laura, and thank you, Kathy, for letting us be here. So my name is Derek Brooks with Brandywine Printing. We only exist to help other organizations succeed. We do it by printing material that either improves their image or makes them more efficient. And we work with some of you people in this room, so we appreciate your business. So I learned a long time ago in this particular room, y'all either don't like to laugh or need a very specific reason to laugh. So I always try to come up with a joke specifically for y'all, and it's usually making fun of doctors. So today I don't have one of those. But I did see a shirt recently that I wanted to share because I thought it was awesome. It was a picture of the band The Cure. And it said, I don't know much about COVID-19, but this is the cure. All right? That was funny. So, and also, does anybody know the band that's better than The Cure? Prevention. That's it. That's all I know.
Hey, real quick, too.
Thanks, Derek.
Hey, Laura, real quick. So, I know Derek is pretty humble. I always like doing an extra shout out because not only is he a good friend, but a great business partner. You guys know he is right around the corner from the hospital. He does do quite a bit of work with us if you are employed or if you are a community practice. His quality is amazing. I don't know if you've ever been on a field trip there, but it's quite the production. So he does do tons with the schools, obviously tons with us in healthcare. Obviously, you can kind of see the quality that he put right in front of you guys. If you need his contact, please, everybody hopefully in this room has my email. Just shoot me a message if you guys need help with anything. So.
Thanks, Kathy. Will you all help me thank Derek both for breakfast and for the joke of the day? So in addition to Brandywine Printing, we have several other businesses that are championing our efforts at the Healthcare Association. These include Apple Spice Catering, who provided our breakfast this morning, Central EMS, and our care sponsors, Dental Partners in North Georgia, Hallmark Home Care, and Jean is with us today. Thanks, Jean. Assisted Living Locators, and Greg is with us today as well, and Eggs Up Grill. Will you guys join me in thanking them too? And today's discussion is going to be facilitated by Chris Thomas. Chris is the founder of Yonder and the former global head of product development and marketing for a Fortune 100 powerhouse. He serves as an associate director of the Chamber of Commerce board, and I'm really excited to have him hanging out with the Chamber's Healthcare Association today. Please join me in welcoming him, you guys.
Hey, real while Chris is getting settled, if you guys just walked in, if you guys want seconds, there is so much food. So please don't be afraid that there can be movement in this room. This will be very conversational. Chris is awesome. You guys are going to love this.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I told Derek before this, he's like, yeah, usually start with a joke, but they don't laugh. And I was like, well, do you ever think maybe you're not funny? Anyway, I feel like I'm at a stand-up club right now with a handheld and a screen behind me, and I'm in control of the clicker. That's great. Well, hey, thanks for coming today. Is this right?
Yes, click in.
There's my face. I ain't see my face, but hey, there you go. I'm one of those guys that you would never believe it. I wore a suit every day, and I look like Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince when I wear a suit. If you don't believe me, come see me after this. I was telling Derek, I kind of have to like wear branded stuff because everybody just assumes I'm here to fix maintenance. It's very weird. Like 3 weeks ago, I was at a country club with my uncle, and I was there early, and I was like, hey, is this the right place? And she was like, yeah. She's like, you're gonna pass the clubhouse sign and keep going straight, and the maintenance barn is there on your left. And I was like, I'm here to play golf. And she's like, are you sure? But anyway, as Laura said, I was a global head of product development and marketing for Ernst & Young. Basically, my job was to take ideas and build them, and then go and market those ideas. So Yonder's been around about 5 years. I got tired of wearing a suit and traded in for a beard and a trucker hat. Yeah, so here we are. And you're probably wondering why in the world I have a Yeti. I gotta love this season change. But anyway, I don't know if you saw the thing, but what do Yetis and your patients have in common? You know they're out there, but you have the toughest time finding them. See, that's a joke. All right, so you're probably thinking this is all gonna be about marketing. It's really not. I am actually more of a data guy on ROI, and when I created Yonder, I wanted something different, where marketing agencies or firms kind of had like a bad word, bad taste in your mouth, because it's like I had no idea what I'm spending money on, and I've been in your chair actually, hiring agencies, trying to figure out, okay, how do we get to the next level, all that fun stuff. So today, you get to ask me a bunch of questions, which is great. Just let me Google it for a second after you ask it. But we should have a lot of fun. Here's the deal. And that did not. There we go. All right. Where to start? Like I said, if you put me in a doctor's outfit or scrubs, people probably think I escaped from the psych ward or something like that. But everybody in here is a practice manager, and so it's like, where do you start when it comes to tracking your patients? Where did they come from? How did it all happen? All that good stuff. And so basically that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm going way too fast. All right, so here are the things we're going to cover. What problem do you solve for your patients? What needs to be refreshed, and we'll talk about that. What tools are you using to reach your patients? How do patients get in the door? And tracking success. And by the way, one thing you're gonna notice, a lot of my slides don't have words because I sound like a cartoon bear and you don't want to hear me read the whole time. So we'll just talk through it. What problem do you solve for your patients? Now, I hear this a lot where it's I don't know how we get our patients in the door, or we're really successful, we have this or that and everything else. And it's like, what makes your practice different? And here's a couple ways, and a couple of my practices, I can talk through all of this. It's patient experience, the doctors, the follow-up, the care. You're one of the four, or maybe two of the four, or three of the four. And if you're really good, you got four of the four, right? And so I will say, like, one of our practices is total joint orthopedics. And I hear, I'll give them a shout out, I guess, because every time I say, my client is total joint, they're like, oh, I love Dr. DeCook. And it's like, oh, well, that's crazy. And what's happened there is the doctors are either known, or it's either the patient experience of like, it's an easy online way to book an appointment, or I didn't have to like sit in the lobby and have to like write everything down. And then even the follow-up, how do we capture reviews, or how do we even know what's going on? So what needs to be refreshed? Everybody hates this this part here because everybody thinks I'm gonna be like, it's about your website, which it is. But basically right now, when we walk into a practice, we're trying to figure out, where are you right now with your data, right? Do you know where your patients find you? And do you know what attracts them, right? So is it through ads? Is it through social media posts? Is it through events that you show up to? Is it referrals, online booking, that kind of stuff? I just show of hands, like how many folks are like tracking their data right now? Sweet, all right, that happened. And we'll talk about that on the question side, because I would love to ask. Reviews and AI. AI is a big thing right now. We'll talk about that here in just a second. What tools do you are using to reach your patients? And so I ask this question a lot. Do you know how your patients find your practice? So like, is there an overwhelming way that people go, oh, I saw this or I saw that online? Let's talk about this a little bit. The number one thing that I see when it comes to like tracking data is when you get to the website, do people know what to do, right? Are they calling you guys? Do they know to call you guys? Do they book online? Do they, can they fill out their intake? All of that fun stuff. And so the biggest thing is when I look at a website and there's not any kind of like relatable thing, or we hear all the time of like, oh, well, patients get to our website and they end up calling because they don't know what we do. And you really have like 15 seconds to capture a patient of like, what makes you different? How are you relatable? All of that fun stuff. So kind of think about that a little bit when we get to the question side, because there's like minor things that you can do to improve the ROI, and like if you're spending on ad spend, or if you're doing events and everything else, because it's only basically when you go to an event and you give somebody a card, do you kind of cringe when you give somebody a card because you're like, I know they're going to go to my website, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen after that. And I've been there, right? It's like, all right, I don't want to hand this because we're not ready for this, or or we're not even thinking about it sometimes. I've had people call me and they're like, hey, I got to your website, I have no idea how to book a call with you or whatever. And I'm like, all right, well, it's time to fix it, right? How do you get patients in the door? This is the biggest question I get all the time. And people, the reason why I'm pausing here is folks think I post all the time on Facebook, or I post all the time on Instagram or LinkedIn, and we don't see an uptick. Like nobody seems to be getting. And basically, it's more about relatable content. And if your practice is in a specialty, right, talk about that specialty. But posting every single day is hard right now for basically the algorithm, right? You ever like sit there and you go, well, I posted like 3 times this week and like 1 person liked it. And the reason why is because it's hard. 10 years ago, it was a lot easier. Today, we actually have to spend money on ad spend, which is tough. And the reason why is like, it feels tough is like, well, I'm spending money on ad spend, I don't know where this is going. But tracking and knowing the data of your patients, right? So for example, with Total Joint, we know the age demographic is above 45. And we know that we're trying to reach people that are trying to be active, right? So when we do relatable content, and we'll show a video here at the end, when we show relatable content, this is all of our videos that we've captured, it's basically, we're posting, but we're paying for that post, and so it's in front of people quicker. And a lot of firms will tell you, oh, just post every day and all that good stuff. But for you guys to hit the algorithm, this is what's crazy. And I told a client, and I was coaching them, and they're like, I don't want to do ad spend. How can I do this myself? And I was like, okay. And I was like, here's the algorithm. It's 5 reels a day, 3 posts a day, 3 stories a day, and 1 post a day. That's a lot of content. I can't even think of content for even yonder. Like, I would be bored of myself. And so my client did it, and 8 weeks later, 1 video hit 500,000 views, but he still didn't get any traction from it. So the algorithm right now is kind of like really hard when it comes to organic. When you do paid content and it's relatable content, I should have shown a screenshot. So this, when we talk about relatable content, we know that this video right here has more reactions than this video, right? But then if we were on a different marketing channel, so on Facebook, this gets a lot of reaction. On LinkedIn, this gets bigger reaction. And so then we know, oh, well, our pickleball folks are over on LinkedIn. And the people that like to walk their neighborhood or golf or dance with their kids, like when you start to think, why did they show up to your practice in the first place? And how do we get people to come back? Everybody tracking so far? I know it's early in the morning. You hear this kind of stuff? Perfect. So tracking success, right? And so I talked about that a little bit. So this is, I'm hiding the client on purpose because everybody loves HIPAA, right? Great, right? Because anyway. So there's a couple things that I can show. So this is based off a month. And this is the form, the intake form that people are filling out to book an appointment. And in a month's time, 1,500 people went to that form. We had 190 responses with a 13% conversion rate. Then the average time people are spending is 6 minutes. Do you know how long people are spending on your content, on your site? Or are they even looking at the data? Are they looking and reading the site? You have 15 seconds to get people in. And so the before and after, I didn't want to do like a before and after because that feels kind of mean. But anyway, for the before, this number was 42 seconds. This conversion rate was unknown because nobody knew. When we came to the site, they're like, I asked the question, I go, how many people have you converted this month off of because they were running ads, they were doing SEO, which is a cuss word here lately, apparently. They were doing all the events, but they had no idea how to track it. And we also know which channel it comes through. And our data looks more like this, where we understand that this is organic. So we do search engine optimization, but we do it in a different way. A lot of people go, oh, it's going to take months and everything else. And it does, but sometimes it's much easier when you focus on content that is around your practice. Now, I know that sounds very simple, but there are some folks out there that will start blogging, and then all of a sudden, they have no traffic, or they have traffic, it's just the wrong traffic. We're getting traffic from California, we're getting traffic from Michigan, and we're like, why are people showing up from that? And it's only because we blogged about walking, fall air, leaves changing, whatever. And people go, oh, this is about, a travel thing. And it's crazy when we look at it because we're like, how does the algorithm work for people to do it? So when we do search, so great example for the orthopedic group, we realized that they weren't ranking for the keywords that they were supposed to be. And honestly, we knew that some of the traffic was not the right traffic. It wasn't local, wasn't anything. And so what we did is changed it to where it's very direct and very we're the number one orthopedic group and specialize in this surgery center. And once we started talking about that, and once we started changing our words on the site, because this sounds dumb, but words matter, apparently. I say that, when I say that out loud, I imagine my kids making fun of me, but anyway, but words do matter on your site, which is crazy. And not many people know that Google on a daily basis can read your website. Like they don't care how pretty the images are, they don't care anything. All they care about is the content. And the content, this is what's crazy about Google and Facebook and everything else. If your content doesn't match your website, then you get penalized for not having the right content. And so the interesting thing is, Google started to notice when we started posting ads on Google ads and Facebook ads about orthopedic, then all of a sudden their traffic spiked 57%. Then all of a sudden people started going there direct because off of events. So we know that these events, this organic traffic, and then Facebook ads. We had only started Facebook ads within that month. And so we already know how it works. Now, the reason why this is 2%, and it's not a lot, is because intentionally, we want to make sure that when people search, that we are actually getting clicked on by people that actually need our service. A lot of times people go, oh, well, we drove 18% from Google. Well, the problem is, did they convert? And a lot of times we will see that our Google is lower because people are getting smarter and knowing that we're tracking them. All of our patients know that there's some sort of tracking mechanism and everything else. What they'll do is they'll Google, and then all of a sudden they go, oh, yeah, they're number one up here on the ad, but they're also number one on SEO as well. So, and it's crazy, we can actually track a lot of that.
So Chris, real quick, so for example, when you're saying words are the right thing and the wrong traffic, so for example, like if their website just says, the whole website, it says like, oh, premier total joint, when people are searching, and there's no mention of orthopedic or very little orthopedic mention, of course, the people that are looking for joint, everybody's getting me, you are getting the wrong traffic. But if you put in keywords about orthopedic, premier orthopedic group, things like that, then your traffic is coming our way. Is that kind of right?
That's right. So basically, when content that you've been pushing out, and you just don't know that you're pushing out the wrong content, and you don't know what Google is looking for when it comes to your website. And so, and even there's stuff on the backside of your data that most people don't talk about because it gets super nerdy quick, right? I never want to be a nerd because, like, you know, I just have an image of that, and apparently I'm a nerd. So there's that. So in the background of your website, let's get nerdy really quick, because people don't understand like how this all works and how it goes through like your website and all of this stuff. If you do not have a schema on your website, meaning the structure of your words and the structure of like your content, Google will ignore it. And what's crazy is about 50%, like it's 52% of sites don't have that in place. They don't realize they're not being indexed. They don't realize that Google's not reading them or any of that kind of stuff. And so that's what I fixed. And with ads and everything else, it starts to basically build up. The other thing too is we noticed that the busiest day for this client is 10 a.m. on a Monday. And so we're like, why is that? But what we realized is our ads are most clicked on the weekend. And so what we did is we lowered ad spend during the week, and on the weekend, we would bump it up. Because we knew that on Monday was the busiest day. Because people have time. They're sitting there Sunday night, Saturday, they go, okay, you know, I have time to just zone out. And once they see our ad, come Monday morning, they're booking a call. The busiest time here, like we're tracking all the phone calls and everything else. And between 10 to noon on Monday, there's hundreds of calls. It's crazy. And it's all coming back to the data. And we had 11,000 people in that month show up. And I think it resulted in like almost 4,000 new patients in that month. And so it's pretty wild to think about when you have intentional content, you know the strategy that you're going after. It starts to become pretty easy to, when I say pretty easy, right? It's all sequential. So let's figure out your strategy first, right? We know what our strategy is. Then it's like, okay, let's talk about the content. Then once we figure out the content, it's like, okay, what video, what website, what ad, what kind of posts should we be doing? And then all of a sudden it starts to track with you. And what we do every 3 months with all of our practices is we do a media day. And the reason why we do a media day is basically we sit with your practice and we talk to your patients, we talk to your doctors, we start to make more commercials and more videos because that one day gives you 12 weeks worth of content. And so that what we're doing is paid media. And so we're not in the questions part, but to get 11,000 people, how many people think it costs more than 5,000 on ad spend? To get the 11,000, how many people think it's more than 5,000? All right. What if I told you to get 11,000, it was $780? Because it was intentional content. So remember the slide before, go back to it. When it was this video here, had I think 148 comments and like 200 like interactions, like likes, loves, all that stuff. The crazy thing about all of these videos, like on average, we get about 50 to 60 comments on the videos right now. And the interactions are about an average of like 100 to 200, right? But what's crazy is the testimonials are inside the comments. We see patients that will go, oh, I love Dr. DeCook, or I love Dr. Kress, or I love Dr. Guile. They fixed my knees, or they fixed my hip, or whatever. All of a sudden people go, oh, well, I need to call them. Like you'll see it in the comments. It's crazy. And it's where you have relatable content. You'll see it here in a second, where we're not trying to be boring. Derek and I share, we love to make people laugh, feel good, and all that kind of stuff. Derek, you are funny, so don't cry later. But yeah, it's one of those things where we try to be relatable and funny. And people love seeing something that's more relatable and funny versus, hi, I'm Dr. So-and-so. And it's like, great. I don't want to talk to you because you're not great on camera. And I've told all our doctors, I'm like, unless you're like comfortable in front of camera, we will have actors come in and talk about your practice. Because that's the complicated part. Our practices, right, think they need to come up with the content, or they need to be the ones to speak about it, where we take that load off you guys. We go, hey, let's learn about you. Let's see if we can become best friends. And let's go promote you in a way that you're going to be proud of when it's out in the wild. Does that make sense? Right, tracking with that? I feel like y'all, it is a crowd that, it is tough. They know everything.
Question, real quickly. So they're viewing these videos and things where? On Facebook,
Mhm.
on the website, or?
So this campaign is all right now on Facebook and Google Performance Max. So if you don't know about Google Performance Max, is basically you produce one ad and it's everywhere that Google has. So you're talking email, display ads. So display ads, a lot of people go, what does that mean? So let's say a news channel website, or ESPN, right? Imagine your practice being on that. Imagine telling your doctor, like, hey, I know you're into sports, so let's get you on ESPN. We can actually buy those slots. And where we display those videos, we turn them in and people are clicking on it because if we know that they're on a golf site, we're going to show that golf. We're not going to show the nice lady walking down the street because it's like, well, that's not related, right? And so that's how we're producing and looking at the content. Where are they coming from right now? And where do we think they are coming from right now? And where do we want them to come from, right? Because like the basic, everybody thinks they know until they see the actual data and go, oh, I never knew that. Because what there's another practice that didn't realize that they had a strong Facebook presence when it comes, like, it was crazy. And they were posting all the time on LinkedIn. And they're like, yeah, we want to grow our LinkedIn. I go, okay, why? And so they're like, well, we only get like one comment or one like or whatever. And I go, okay. And I go, well, what about Facebook? They're like, yeah, but we have like, we have a good Facebook presence, blah, blah, blah. And they wanted to like kind of just not talk about it because they felt like they had a good handle. And so I was like, no, let's focus on Facebook. How do we get the 50 comments to 100 and then 150 comments? And they're like, oh, we didn't think about that. Because it's harder, we all know this, right? I was horrible in school. So it's harder to get a C student to an A student within 6 weeks, but it's much easier to get an A minus to an A plus, right? And so focus on that one particular slot, right? But basically, like, when you look at those kind of things, don't get discouraged and go, oh, it's not working on this one channel. We need to keep focusing on it. Because what's going to happen is you get frustrated and then you go, this isn't working. And I get this all the time of like, we've been doing this 23 days. We haven't seen anything. And it's like, well, are you doing the right things for reactions to happen? And so typically in a marketing campaign, we see reactions within 30 days. In some cases, it's about 45. But after that 45-day mark, you have to keep refreshing that content. That's why we do media days every 90 days. Because Google likes it, Facebook likes it, all that good stuff. All right. I must have done something. You're doing the yes. Perfect. So how is she doing that? Everybody feeling good? Everybody ready to get out of here? Just kidding. Everybody having a good time? I mean, at least this wasn't like the day after Halloween. You guys were not here. And this is my fault. I threw the video in last second. And let's give it up for Jesse. And those online are sending you all the links to use the video. So this is for Total Joy. And I think the first video we're showing is the anchor video. And it's a series of videos that we're doing. So we did 6 videos. 4 that are building up to the anchor video. Because when people see the anchor video, they go, oh, I've seen that ad. I didn't realize that was the same company.
While we're waiting too, why don't we, real quick, I want Chris to kind of know blend of who's in the room. We can kind of start back here too. I see short urology. You guys like wait for me. What other specialty we have? Urology. Yep. With it, is that Cooper? Yes. Okay, great. Anybody else like at the table? Is everybody?
I'm primary care.
Yeah, which group? Which group?
Perimeter North.
Yeah, Perimeter North. Okay, so one of our employee groups. We've got our wellness center back here. EDMA, which is our North Atlanta Breast Center, on the right. We've got some people that manage some of our groups. So there's Krista. Forgive me, tell me you guys again.
Sandy, comprehensive neurology specialist.
Yep, okay. Yep, and she's with the Breast Center. We've got GI North. But okay. So you're doing pretty good. Not quiz for Kat. Sandy Reagan, raise your hand. Yep, North Point Palm, if you guys remember Dr. Callahan and our group right here on campus. Lori is also pulmonary, but different group, Dr. Nayat. Pain Center, Riverside Pain Center, very good friends of mine. You guys tell me right here, I am Mindy, Honda Medical. All you guys? Okay, great. You guys met, I don't know if we met you.
I'm Jason, Northside Hospital Diagnostic Clinic.
Oh, wow, you came all the way from Gatesville? Thank you for doing that, Paul, for
He
sure.
heard I was here.
I did.
Oh, that's it.
Did.
I just saw a new face.
Yeah.
And you guys tell me every year?
Mariana Eye Clinic, the common location.
Perfect. Both of you? And then go ahead. Assisted.
Assisted living locators. Right.
Yeah, so something new I just learned today. So of course, when people are, looking for assisted living, I didn't know that he has a service right here in Cumming that families can use him. And when you think about finances, disabilities, different medical issues, dementia, things like that, he can help, you find the right place for your family. Go ahead, last go. I know I got Cindy also, find a medical. Okay, perfect.
And I'm with NSC Cardiology. We have an office building in the 1100 building and one in John Street.
Tell me the doctors, or a few.
Narrator Singh.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Awesome, you guys. All right, so such a
You
good
should
time
have
killer.
told All right, so we're gonna watch a couple videos because I'm tired of hearing myself talk. And this is what we're doing.
But now your hips feel like they're holding you back. Don't let hip pain keep you from playing the game you love. At Total Joint Specialists, we help get you back on the green so you can focus on your swing, not your pain. Because the only thing you should be worried about is that 3-foot putt on 7 you're probably gonna miss. At least your hips are moving the way they're supposed to. How you feel tomorrow starts today.
So we're gonna show two more, and then the last one is our anchor video.
Oh, did I mention pop quiz? Now you gotta tell me who everybody is? See, I can wake up a crowd. Everybody just poop their pants.
But now your hips feel more like they're stuck in reverse. But who says you have to sit out the pain? At Total Joint Specialists, we're here to help you find your rhythm again with treatments that get you back to moving like you used to. Because it's not just about dancing again. It's about dancing like no one's watching. How you feel tomorrow starts today.
And then the last one, and I keep stepping on this thing. If I fall, I'll be really fun.
Little by little, our knees and hips remind us that we're not as mobile as we want. At Total Joint Surgery Center at Northside, we understand the toll that joint pain can take on your mind, and we're here to support you every step of the way. With minimal downtime and expert care, we specialize in what matters most. Your knees and hips, so you can get back to living fully and freely. How you feel tomorrow starts today.
So we wrote that script. All of them, actually the tagline, how you feel tomorrow starts today. So I wrote that. No big deal. But people started repeating it, which was crazy. And so the other thing is when people see videos, they go, oh, that must be really expensive. But they're actually not. The way we do it is we combine it to where it's like, it's a one-day shoot. We have everything programmed out. Your team doesn't even have to be there. And so it's cheaper that way for us to have a process where it's like, you see the script, we do a table read over a Google Meet, and you go, yep, that sounds like our practice. And then we go out and film, and we're done. And then when you see it, and the reason why we did these series of videos is because we wanted to tell the story and be relatable and have little, funny things like moves like Jagger, because, it was the age group and all of that stuff. And then missing the putt on 9 and stuff like that. And we basically, we have one line on the pickleball. It's like, you used to be king of the court, now you're king of the couch, right? And so it's like stuff like that where it's like, how people feel, right? And it doesn't have to be just orthopedic. We've done this with multiple doctors where it's like, you feel sick, and we've all been there on a Monday morning where we have like a 10 a.m. meeting. Who are we gonna book same day general practice appointments? We want that to happen, right? And you may not get that lead that day, but 2 weeks, they'll go, like, we heard a story recently. they're like, oh, we saw the ad. I thought it was funny, and I literally got sick 3 weeks later, and was like, I knew who I was going to call because I could get a same day appointment. It's telling that story to get people involved and get people excited. So that's time for the bigger one, the questions, and I will answer them the best I can. If not, I'll tell jokes or Derek will.
I'm gonna chime in real quick too. So before the project started, and I think some people do, like what Total Join or the Tab Joint, and of course Starving Dogs, word of mouth of course is huge. But what he also did was create the brand, and of course not just being known here, but Joint wants to be known. We are the leading joint group in Georgia, and we're top in the nation, but people don't even know that, or not enough people know about that, and some people do know about it. When I first met Chris, we talked about too, everybody knows the Starbucks brand, right? And usually you're gonna get a good product, and you're gonna be happy, and warm and fuzzies, and you're gonna be awake. So that's kind of what Chris did with us, or where we started, was also just starting on the brand, the messages, like he said, not just being known here, but, and it's several groups in here, Georgiology. I mean, how many locations do you guys have? I know more than 13.
It's like 36.
Okay. Total Joint, I think, has 13. I mean, you guys had a ton. So Tanya, gosh, how many do you have now? 6. So really big growing practices that you want to be known in your pocket or your community. But again, it's like, what is your goal? Where do you want to be, or how can you reach people or more people even in your region? And then of course that brand, when you think about Starbucks, I'm always going to get a good coffee. So that's kind of what Chris has come in, and he's helping us obviously extremely amount. And the nice thing is the data is behind it, where you can kind of see that it's working. So just kind of give that analogy of the whole thing. The Starbucks thing is relatable for pretty much everybody here.
Should have just had you talk for me.
I'll do your presentation next time.
Yeah, that'd be great. If you want to see the website, it's totaljoyspecialist.com. It launched like 40 days ago. It's been doing great. And what you'll see is there's a lot of, one, it's mobile responsive. That's huge because right now data shows most people, it's like, it used to be 50-50 and then now it's like 70% is mobile. If you can't view it on mobile, people are gonna just keep going. So thank you. And also you'll notice on the website, a lot of movement. Because we're orthopedic, we want people to feel like, oh, things are moving. And that's what they're meant to do.
You guys take a minute, actually, whip your phone out real quick and look up the Total Joint website, because it is brand new. It's very different and unique than maybe some other websites that you've seen, because it could spark some questions that you could ask Chris about right now. It's very dynamic. If you go and look at the services, you'll see that there are the videos that you just saw. They're like on the website, which is great because there could be somebody that's, maybe my parents, they're not on Facebook, so they might miss that Facebook ad, but if they saw something else that drove them to the website, they'll be able to get that same information there. So it's super dynamic, the information is there, to me, it's simple and it's clean, and if you saw their website before, it was not good. I mean, from graphics to
I
information.
just want to be clear,
everything.
Kathy said that. I did not.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a big fan of Chris because he's a digital genius, and also he solves a lot of problems. So he's not just a website marketing type guy. I mean, he solves a lot of problems in healthcare practices and flow, and
I promise we're not related.
no, we're not. I don't look like a bear, so I'm just kidding.
Fair.
Yeah, they both. But yeah, so, from front desk issues, I know a lot of people use Farisha, it's expensive, it's ridiculous. So he's a problem solver in the healthcare world. So if that doesn't intrigue you a little bit, you can always call me, text me, I'll tell you more, or you can reach out to Chris and he can tell you a little bit more about what he does beyond a little bit of what you've seen today. So.
All right, who's up first on questions?
Yeah, any questions?
No dumb question. Go.
I was just gonna, you talked a little bit about your process and how maybe a media day works, but how is it that you sit down with a client, and just kind of talk about their business, and how do you get to know that? You don't have to go through your whole intake.
Yeah, no. Look, I love having conversations with people. I kind of get along with everybody. And the reason why, if you come into my office, it's very just very laid back. Because the thing is like, there's so much stress that we're dealing with throughout the day, running a business and everything else. I don't want this part, right? When I'm learning about your business, I don't want it to feel stressful at all. So like when you come and hang out with me, it's like, I want to know more about you and ask questions. And, you know, and the reason why I'm asking so many questions that don't seem to make sense is because a lot of times I'm listening going, oh, there's the problem, right? And so basically what we do is we sit down and we have a discovery meeting where it's like, okay, where do you want to be in the next 24 months, right? And then it's like, okay, great. Then we figure out how to get there incremental. Like I'm not going to promise you're going to be there in 24 months because there's all kinds of things that happen, right? And so that's kind of our process a little bit. And then we do audit the site like everybody else does, but we do it differently. We can actually tell whether the traffic, give you a great example. We had a client, we're like, oh yeah, we don't need search or really ads. We just need help with the video. I was like, okay. And without telling them, I went ahead and audited and I go, hey, that 10,000 people that show up to your website organically, I don't know if you know this, but 8,200 of them are coming from the Philippines with a mask IP address. And they just looked at me and they're like, oh, how did you know that? I'm like, well, I feel like I should wear a bear costume because I'm the bearer of bad news a lot of the time. It's like I walk in and I go, sorry, what you've been told may be true. And how they're getting that traffic is whoever they're working with goes, oh, I'm trusting this other person to get the traffic, and I'm trusting this other person. And then before you know it, it looks great on paper, but the ROI doesn't match. And so the ROI matched with total. Like, I think we were like 15,600 people the first month, and their Facebook ad spend was like $1,200. So like on average, we'll see a big increase on like $750 to $1,000. And and a lot of people go, well, it's close to the end of the month. Why have we only spent $1,200? Well, the fun part is we don't want to spend all the time. We want to optimize it to where the right people are clicking, and you have money left over on your ad spend by the end of the month. And the cost per click being low. So when you sit down with us, we're figuring out what is your cost per click, where do you want your practice to go, and then how do we get there? Like, and what it all comes down to like your appetite of like budget, right? And if you want to be aggressive, here's the aggressive budget. If you want to be just hey, we just want to maintain, we can come up with that as well. Don't be shy, though, really. I have a resting confused face, so I guess.
What are some observations, if you guys took a minute to look at the Total Joint website, and you think about your own, do they look similarly? Is it something like attractive? Is it, I guess what are you guys thinking in your head? And I get it, for Northside practices, might be a little bit hard because things go through a different channel, but it would be good to hear your feedback, because if it's something you think you like or differences or what it would work, it would be really good to hear, because maybe it's something that we can get some feedback. And I know Northside is changing the website, and then practice websites and stuff is going to come. But, and then of course, if you guys are private practice, definitely wanted to kind of show you when you think about yours and if you're looking at this, what are some differences? I know you had a question too.
No, you're good. I don't have a question. I'm just gonna comment. So I love the flashing telephone. I think that's incredible. Yeah. I like that it's a circle. It's really, it's easy to like press because like, hey, it's a circle, let me touch it. Like, it's just basic, like easy things. I like that it says like hip replacement in dark, easy to read letters. I like that it's a white background for our, geriatric patients. It's just easy to read. The print is larger. There's not a lot of small print, so that's helpful too. I love the slow moving video that is like, there's multiple videos, but it's like slowly moving upwards. That's extremely appealing to my age group, so I like that. And what was the other thing? I don't know. That's just a couple
I
personal.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coming here every week, if y'all just, that's great.
You just said something that triggers me too. When you think about too, one thing we found, which I learned from Chris going through this a little bit with this project, is how people read, on their phone or on a website. There is a brain pattern, and the old website, you could not read it well, but with this new one, like you said, a lot of people read it like a book or like a certain way.
It's a Z pattern.
A Z
So if
pattern,
everybody's
sorry.
wondering, so basically if you look at a website, the way it should be is it's a Z pattern. So people are looking at the logo, they look at the navigation, and then we do this based off eye tracking. We actually track a lot of the data, and I was gonna show it, but I was trying to like figure out like rules and stuff and what we can show. But basically we have heat maps and we can actually tell where people are looking on the website and also where people are clicking. So like the phone button, for example, we had a heat map and we corresponded with the call center. The first day we launched, I think they had 420 calls that day. Typically they have around 200, 250. So like if there is an increase and they're like, we don't know what happened, we turn on ads and we turn this on. So yeah.
I think that's smart. So often I'm looking for a website, I'm like, how do I reach them? Or like,
That's right.
That's,
Yeah, it's the quickest way. And if you're tracking in, you have a call center, you actually know where they're coming from, how they got to you, right? So we know that, and I didn't show that data, but like Total Joy, we know like 60% of their phone calls will come from Facebook. And we don't know the patient because HIPAA laws and stuff like that, but we can summarize the data to go, okay, if 600 people came through here and 360 patients brand new, and they all came from this kind of funnel, we kind of start to summarize that.
So the other thing you guys need to think about too is what, and you don't have to use Chris or anything like that, but just challenge yourself, like for the amount of money that you're paying, if it's just a static page, if you're spending $1,000 a month, 10,000. Some groups I've learned are spending like $20,000 a month for certain services, social medias, websites, management, things like that, and we're not getting really anything out of it, I guess is the point. So go back and think about that for yourselves. Really, what are you getting out of your website? What are you paying for? Are you getting the patients? Are you hitting your market? And, you can always have Chris come sit with you because I've been to a few of the meetings where you're uncovering like what's important, what's working, what's broken, and so forth. It is sad that some companies really do sell you on what they can do or will do and don't deliver. So really, this was more like, I would say, an awakening. Like I said, you can use Chris, don't use Chris. I get nothing out of it. I just wanted you guys to have an awakening of, just where we are in the economy, and we want to gain more patients and the challenges that we all face. And if you're paying for something, I want you guys to be able to get what you need to get. Make sure you're hitting your target market. So.
And one thing, if you love your current firm, which is totally fine, but you need outside eyes, we do a Frontier Navigator kind of day. It's kind of like a retreat where we analyze everything. And basically, we will give you data back we just basically give a roadmap, a trail map, if you will, of like, here's what you need to fix and this is what you need to do. Most firms don't like it when you get that, but it's to help you guys. You're paying them. So if you feel like you're stuck, we can tell you small little things to fix. And then it's just basically like, I'm very consultative, or we could do the work, right? So that's the two-sided thing, where I'm here to guide and not divide from y'all's folks. I should be a politician. Sorry, but I do say that a lot. I'm really here to guide you guys through this, because the problem most of the times is you guys don't know you run a practice. You're not in marketing every single day. You shouldn't know the algorithm. You shouldn't know any of the stuff I'm talking about, right? But but you have to learn it and all of that, where I come in and go, hey, this is what you need to look for, and here's your roadmap, and here's what you should tell your current agency, or this is where you should be going in the next 24 months.
Okay, I swear I don't work for Chris. The other thing that I learned going through this process with Chris too, for the same amount of money, so like, let's say it's $2,000, $10,000 a month, whatever you're paying for, if you haven't realized, you're getting so much more from using somebody like Chris. Or if it's not Chris, just find the company that actually is going to deliver like that. But just, cause it's funny, I just heard some rumblings, like, oh, I wonder how expensive he is. He's, to me, normal price. You just get so much more. You also get Chris. Chris is here local, here in our community, where the last group that Joint worked with was not here. And half the time, you can't get somebody on the phone, or you can't get the customer service that you need, or, frustrations are building. So again, this was more just an awakening, like, think about what is working for you, what is not working for you, how much money are you spending, and again, challenge, if you like the company, challenge them and make sure you're getting what you need. So that's really what today was more about.
I promise she doesn't get a Chili's gift card.
What other questions, you guys?
Kathy, can I ask a
Yes,
question to you? So I didn't look on Northside's website, but I do like your ad. So if somebody was looking at Northside because they're looking at the system as a whole to find a position. So if they were on there, you know how you can click on the certain doctor and go to their website. So if they were to pull up this particular website, is it going to pull up this website or Northside's website?
Oh, that's a good point. Because it's so new, have we tied it to the main website webpage or not yet? 'Cause
Yeah,
I think
it's done.
it is? Okay, because I know we are changing, we are about to start changing the overall big Northside website. So if it's not tied, it will be soon. So, good question.
Any other questions?
Chris, thank you so much. Will you guys help me thank Chris for being here? You will see at your tables, you have flyers for the next Healthcare Association event. You guys know that have attended these for some time. I always get excited in our November practice managers roundtables because I get to tell you guys the next event is a party, y'all. So please take these back to your practices. All healthcare professionals in Forsyth County are welcome. So we hope that you can attend, that your colleagues and friends can attend. Go ahead and just let us know that you're coming. There's no cost to join us. We just would like to know that you're going to join us. And this will take place on December 12th in the Women's Center Galleria, just down the hall. Also wanted to make mention of another event actually in the new year. Can y'all believe it? We're going to save the dates for January. But this is a Northside Hospital event that the Healthcare Association is proud to partner with. Kathy wanted to see if you had some comments about the upcoming practice lunch.
Yeah, hey you guys, so how many people have registered for this event? Oh my gosh, okay, so not everybody. All right, so don't miss out. If you have not registered yet, this is like the big event for Northside. It is our way of appreciating all of the medical staff, medical offices in the surrounding area. We do dump into the Forsyth Conference Center. There are approximately 700 people that come and join us. It is a phenomenal lunch catered by TANS. It is like an Oprah giveaway if you have not been there yet. So definitely hit that QR code, or of course, see me, before you leave, I'll make sure that you get added. It is open to you as you the office coordinator, but you can bring the entire office if you want. Once you've been, if you decide to shut down for a few hours, your staff will thank you, because it's basically you also being allowed to show appreciation to your staff, and you don't have to spend any money. So it's us trying to appreciate you, you can appreciate your people. There's a small education element to it. Lynn Jackson, our CEO, is there. She kind of gives an overview of what is new with Northside, because the crane's about to go up again, so I'm sure people are going to be like, what are we building now and next? So I'm not going to do a spoiler alert. And there is actually, I need to update, there is one new element. It actually starts at 10 a.m. for all office coordinators. If you want to bring your supervisors or leads, make sure that you do RSVP. There's a couple elements in the RSVP. But this is new where we want you guys to have a special hour where you can come in, interact with us and all of us leaders, have some time with all of the educational tables. It gives you a chance to kind of see all the different services, ask questions if there's been challenges. So just kind of a special hour for you guys. And then of course you can have your staff join you at 11 o'clock. And of course, there's tons of ways to win and stuff. So, just, if anybody, is it a do not miss?
Yeah.
It is a do not miss event. That's all I can say.
Do not miss. So I will also say to our virtual audience, do not miss being in person at our practice managers roundtable, because we're going to close up our virtual live stream, and for our in-person folks, we have a couple of giveaways. So